Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the garage. We've got lots of French tanks in the tech tree to choose from now, and with them comes a new Tier 8 premium medium, the AMX CDC. The CDC is fast, with a top speed of 57 kilometers per hour, which it can easily achieve over many types of terrain thanks to its light weight of 34 tons and 1,320 horsepower under the hood. That's a power-to-weight ratio of 38.48 horsepower per ton, so it really gets up and moves forward. Backward speeds are quite slow and will be a detriment to peek-a-boom tactics if you are actually foolish enough to use those. Why do I say that? Well, as you can imagine, all this mobility comes at the cost of armor protection, and with the CDC this is extreme. Both hull and turret armor profiles have 30 millimeters on the front and 20 millimeters on the sides and rear. Remember, this is Tier 8, barely enough to keep out bad weather, let alone enemy fire. If you ever bounce a shot in this tank, you should post a screenshot of the event online, because it'll be rare. So, if you can't peek-a-boom and absorb the occasional shot, maybe you should scout. The problem this presents is that you don't really dare dash forward to scout in this tank because the likelihood of running into multiple enemies at the beginning of the match is really quite high. Most likely you will not survive that encounter. The large size of the tank makes it very easy to hit, and the lack of armor ensures that all rounds, including HE, will penetrate and do maximum damage. Another situation I ran into was being tracked constantly. This too will lead to your quick demise, so to counter, I make sure I have the enhanced torsion bar suspension upgrade installed. Other equipment I felt worked was the gun rammer and the vertical stabilizer. As far as provisions go, you're driving a premium vehicle and you should be able to afford the best, so feel free to load those up. And up to this point, you might be wondering how will I be able to fight this vehicle effectively. Once the forces of both teams are lined up and settled into trading shots with each other, you can flank very effectively and put supporting fire into the sides and rear of your enemies. You know, have less risk of actually taking some return fire that way. The very good traverse speeds of both hull and turret, 47 and 45 degrees respectively, and your own excellent power-to-weight ratio will allow you to get to places that your enemies will not expect you to be firing from. Excellent gun depression also adds further flexibility when choosing a firing position, and putting all of these strengths to use will go a long way keeping you alive and successful in your battles. The 90mm gun is a good weapon, pumping out shots almost 10 times a minute with the rammer and provisions installed. Average pen of standard AP is 212mm, with average damage at 225 hit points, and spicy ammo will penetrate 259mm of enemy armor, in those situations where nothing else will do. Accuracy of .312 and a good aim time of 3.8 seconds ensure that you will be able to land your shots on target, opening up the role of sniper as another possible way to use this tank, especially if you swapped out the suspension upgrade for coated optics or binoculars. So as you can see, this tank is not like, say, driving your typical Russian medium. It's not very forgiving, and while this tank will be a challenge to you if you're used to playing in a tank like that, it can still be very effective if you are shrewd in how you operate it. Challenge accepted, you say. So, how are you going to get this vehicle and work through the challenge? You can get this vehicle in two different ways. There's the open your wallet way, which involves going to the store and purchasing containers that will yield 2 rewards each, randomly selected from the list of their contents as you open them. The other way is to complete missions that will give you intel. In your storage area, you can exchange 250 intel for a container that may drop one of 3 premium tanks, the IS-2, the FCM-50T, or the AMX CDC. Look in-game at the Lost Division event for full details on how this all works. Good luck, tankers!